What's up, 828 fam? Coach Rees here, and today I have the honor of having a conversation with my sis, DJ ShamWow. If y'all don't know, this is the Tacoma. This is Tacoma's DJ. So, off tops, if you have an event, you know somebody who's having an event or needs a DJ, definitely make sure you check out DJ ShamWow. You're usually behind the scenes a little bit, so I just want to give you a chance to introduce yourself before we get into this conversation. So, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and yeah.
Thank you. I'm DJ DJ ShamWow, known as A28's music curator, vibe curator. Majority of the events, I'm gonna be the one, playing the tunes, keeping the vibes going and rocking. And as of lately, man, business has been booming, business has been growing. Definitely grateful and blessed to be in the position that I am with my new career with music. Everything's going really good there. That's kind of just been my thing, starting back from mixed CDs and warming up basketball, and like pregame, just making sure the vibes was right. And that's just something that I tapped into, and it's just been rolling with it ever since.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So we're in Pride Month, and so I definitely want to make sure we had a conversation between the two of us of just like, what does that mean? What does it mean, right? You even got Tacoma across your chest. What does it mean for you to be a black woman growing up in Tacoma and being a lesbian and a mass lesbian? And some people may not be familiar, but I try to put some of that verbiage out on the page, so hopefully people like read some of that. But let me not label you, and you can, I guess, tell us how you identify.
I would definitely say I'm mass presenting. But if you know me, have gotten to know me, I'm very feminine. I'm very tapped into my feminine side. It's something that I think stands out more than the masculine clothes that I wear. To someone that may not know me, it's like, oh, that's a stud, that's a mask, lesbian or whatever. But people that know me, a lot of the times don't even call me a stud because they're like, you don't, like this stereotype of how a stud's supposed to act or their demeanor or whatever the case may be. I don't carry that. I'm myself. I'm the Shamaure everyone knew when I was saying I was straight, as the same Shamaure I am that I'm gay. I'm just now more comfortable presenting it in a way where the clothes match the person.
Okay, so you said a couple things that the people may not be aware of. Like I said, I tried to get some vocab out on the 828 page, but who knows if people really tapped in. So you said stud. What does a stud mean?
Oh, a stud. I think it's really, I don't know if there's a professional or an actual, term for it, but it's really just a lesbian that is more mass presenting, and that's with their clothing. That's could be just their demeanor, their just how they come across to people can just be considered more masculine, pretty much more masculine, more dominant figure in the LGBTQ plus area.
Word. Yep. So basically everything she said. Also, stud refers to like those in African American and Latinx populations, while butch is more for like white women who identify as lesbians. So obviously I identify as a stud as well. Highly engaged in my femme energy with it all. Beyonce's new song has me out here.
Man, I can't wait to play that at like a party. Oh, never mind. Just some vibes next to the water, getting it.
She served it. So I think that's one thing that people really kind of misconstrue. Like and you said that, like they assume just because your bodily image and what you're wearing is mass presenting, that people automatic. And when we say mass, we mean masculine. Is more mass presenting. People think that is how you, like, one, you either want to be a man, or two, that's all your energy as well, and that's just not the case. And that's why it's really important for us to have these conversations as familiar faces with 828, so people hopefully can feel comfortable engaging, but also just knowing that like it's not a monolith, the same way like all black folks just ain't the same, right? All people in the LGBTQ community are not all the same, also. So
Mm-hmm.
And then you also said fem, right? So that we're talking about masculine and feminine energy that we all have. It just depends on the person whether they want to tap into it or not.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I think it goes back to like just the comfort of someone that may not be a part of the LGBTQ community, what they can say, how they can address someone. Can they call them a stud? Is that considered derogatory? Is that, you know what I mean? Like just kind of what you're doing on the page, and how you're spreading awareness, and you know the words that you're putting out there that are very common in our community. I think will shed a lot of light and bring some comfort to others that, you know, want to be an ally and want to support, but really don't know what they can and cannot say that could be, you know, constructive or not.
Yeah, you mentioned something, a really good point. So I would say allyship, right? Again, if we're talking about equity, that's obviously right the framework for 828 being an ally, and we
Yeah.
have had, you and I have shared the best ally there is, right, in Mother Stud. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
and you know, and that's real. And so for those who don't know, it's our sister Talisha, but like you don't have to fully understand the journey to show up and be there for somebody, right? To immerse yourself in somebody's life to get to know them as the human. Nor do you have to agree with everything either. And I think that's what a lot of people forget or don't know or don't realize, you know. And so allyship is just as real here as it is, you know, when it comes to race issues as well.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. I think that's the key thing is you don't always have to agree. And there's so many other instances where we see people disagreeing, but can still show up and support and be there for other people in different ways. But when it comes to, you know, being gay, being a lesbian, it's like a line that people are scared to cross. But I think it's becoming more normal. It's becoming more talked about. It's becoming um, definitely on a broader scale, just making sure that there's a presence there. And I think that makes it easier in spaces that I've been in to where I'm able to share my authentic self.
Mm. So tell us about that journey of you becoming your authentic self.
Oh man. So I knew I was gay pretty much my whole life. Elementary schools when I was like, you know, interested and liked girls, but just thought it was not okay or weird. But once I got to about high school, my freshman years, when I was coming to the terms like, yeah, like, no, this might be who I am. I started seeing older people that I looked up to that played sports that were starting to come out and say that's who they were and were dating girls. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is normal to feel this way. I'm not tripping. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is other people feel the same way I do. Um, and it was just a tussle to kind of come to grips with of saying that I was gay because I was still very attracted to men. I had boyfriends and girlfriends. And it was, I think the comfort for others was to come out as first bisexual so that it wasn't offending my parents. It wasn't too much for my grandparents to grasp onto. It wasn't going to make people not want to be my friend. Like if, oh, okay, well, she still likes guys. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of an easy way for me to
Mm-hmm.
come out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I am forever grateful for the family that I've been blessed with to embrace me and know that it was something I was struggling with internally, to let me know like, hey, we know, like, we're going to love you regardless. We do not care who you are with. That is not going to change anything. And if that's who you are, then be who you are. And that kind of helped catapult me being able to step out into my authentic self.
Yeah, that is. Shout out to your family. That's because a lot of people don't have that opportunity, right? I mean, I didn't, don't
Yeah.
at the same time, right? And
Yeah.
that's why, you know, your family is my adopted family, but that's a big deal. So anybody out there who knows, you know, has a child, a sibling, a whatever, you know, in their relation, reach out to them, right? Because they just really want to know that they're loved and you're there for them and you're not there to judge them for anything. The other part is like for something they never even asked for. Like
Exactly.
I just really have to say that didn't nobody ask for this life.
I could
Other
go back and
people,
choose. I probably would choose the latter of the harder.
yeah, like it's not been it hasn't been an easy ride getting here, getting to,
Yeah.
the way that you and I both show up today at, 30 years old. It's been a journey. And I think, and I have shared the absolute same thing. I was by yesterday. Like, listen, not yesterday, but, anybody who knows me intimately knows
Yeah.
I've been on a teeter-totter my entire life, out of fear,
Mm-hmm.
out of pure fear, and many things, whether that's like going to hell, whether that's like trying to appease other people, like the bi cage I lived in was ridiculously suffocating and damaging to myself and others. And so had there been more affirming spaces, I think is probably a good word to say.
Yeah.
um who knows what, like there'd be less of a lot of stuff, I guess I could say. But yeah, like that's definitely something I think people need to do, is create more affirming spaces for humans. And you and I, like, there's another layer, right? There are people who identify as um trans, right? There are people who
Mm-hmm.
really feel like they were born in the wrong body,
Yeah.
and they feel more comfortable being the opposite sex, or whatever, however you want to define, sex and gender. And also, there's so many different arguments out there when it comes to how that impacts sports, how that impacts, everything. And so I think the thing that is the most important is like there's people, right? Like these are
Exactly.
humans
End of the
who have,
day.
right, like that's it. So how do we create affirming spaces so that way people can know they're loved, they're cared about, and equity within this space is just as, it's important. So,
Mm-hmm.
or
Agreed. Agreed. And I don't want to take away from, because I know it's can be a double-edged sword when it comes to saying bisexual, right? A lot, especially within the Black community, it's not really respected the same as other ways people identify within our community. Um, so I don't want it to come across as a slight, like, oh yeah, I just came out this way because it's comfortable, because I respect people that are bisexual. It's just that felt at the time the easiest way for me to come out to my family and peers.
100%. Shout out to the buys. Shout out to, like, right, everybody. Everybody has their own. Each their own. Right. I
Period.
think is the best way to say it. So, um, what would you say, was the best thing for you growing up, or just in general, that you needed in order to, like, because there's people who struggle with this and, right, like, end up dying by suicide. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
at least tempting or thinking about it. Or people, the homeless rate, of people who are experiencing homelessness because of their sexuality,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? It's huge. Like, this is a huge problem.
Mhm.
So what are some of the tips, I guess, and pointers you could give, people?
Um, Man, I feel like there's so many layers to that question, but sorry, Nova.
No.
Um, I would say finding the people that truly know you and you're able to be your authentic self around. Surround yourself around those people first and foremost. Um, and I think just kind of building from there. I it's hard to say because I really didn't have that experience to really know what advice to give someone that could be facing things on the other side. I don't know what barriers they're going to face. I don't know what friends or family they're going to lose because I didn't have that. Um, but just support, honestly, being around people that may not agree but love you regardless. That was one of the hardest things to really come to grips with, was knowing that my family didn't agree with my lifestyle, but that they still loved me regardless. So I still was kind of like a void there, because it's like, gosh, I'm not making them happy. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing from a family standpoint to make them fulfilled. And once I kind of got out of that mindset and figured out, it's more so about me and my happiness, that just became that went to the forefront and became my main focus, is what's going to make me happy, what's going to fulfill me at the end of the day. My mom literally told me, I want to say I was in eighth or ninth grade. I had to be in ninth grade, because I wasn't allowed to have boyfriends until the age of 16. And one day we were just driving and she was like, I said you can't have boyfriends till 16. That goes for girls too. And I was just like, oh shoot, okay. So not hiding it the best way that I thought I was. And at that point, I was just like, shoot. And that's when she gave me the talk, like, I love you. I don't never want to lose you, like just really affirmed who I am and allowed me to see myself where I was the person I was trying to bury. So
Well, shout out to Sugar. Shout
yeah,
out to
yeah,
that, right? Obviously, not everybody has a Sugar, but take that advice, run with it, create safe spaces for people, whether it is for them to talk about, their sexuality, but everybody's got some type of hurts and pains and
yeah,
different things going on, obviously, with everything going on in the world. So if we can create more affirming spaces, more safe spaces, more healing spaces, it'll make obviously the world that much better. But if you feel like your any of this is uncomfortable for you, then that means that you got to check your internal something, your homophobia, your however you want to describe it, figure out why that bothers you. Because it's just things are here to stay, people are here to stay, and things are getting more progressive. I mean, I'm at practice yesterday, and one of my players, I have on a Be True shirt, and one of my players is like, coach, you going to Pride? I'm gonna go to the Pride Parade. And I'm like, I never at
yeah,
15, 16 years old was talking to anybody else about Pride or going to Pride and being proud. And I was like, I told her, I was like, I've never been proud before, so I couldn't go to Pride. I couldn't have pride in something I was never proud of.
yeah.
And
It's good.
so, but to see these young women, men and women, just being so themselves, and so like, this is them, this is their identity, and they hold on to it with effortless grace in a way that I don't think that we have the ability to, and neither did, I would say, some of our elders in this space.
Yeah,
But I'm inspired by all the young people who are like, this is who I am, these are my pronouns, and this is how I'm going to show up, and I don't care what you have to say. But the thing that we can't do as adults is think that they're being disrespectful or ignorant or all of that, because all that's going to do is draw a wedge between us and them, and now you're losing out on, right, like future leaders and humans and their ability to
100%.
have a relationship with people. So definitely want to
Yeah,
make sure I said that.
for sure. No, I think that's a great point. I think the way these the younger generation is moving, man, it's like it like makes younger me happy to be able to see that. You know what I mean? Like, man, I would have never been able to say that or do that. Or it's just dope. It's dope to see the evolution of our community and then walking with their heads held high. Like, I don't care who rock with me, who don't. This is me. This is how I'm showing up.
It's a whole new level of no f's given. This generation was born with none.
Oh, period.
None. They don't give
Absolutely.
any. So if you don't give them one to give, they don't have any. Period. So it's really up to you as the adult, because they will literally live life without you. So if you are um an educator in some way, right? In any capacity, not just a teacher within a school system, but somebody who finds yourself in the life of youth and young adults, like, it's up to you to build a relationship with them, not the other way around. Because they
Mhm.
will live life without you and figure it out without you, and or find a group of their age. And so, if it takes a village, and the village needs to be affirming. The village needs to create safe spaces. The village needs allies who are attentive, who show up and ask questions and are okay with looking stupid and disagreeing and agreeing, and dismantling homophobia as much as we can. So there's that.
There is that, girl. For
Word.
real.
Well, how you know that's my pronouns? It's like I'm joking. we, we didn't talk about. I just was making a joke for the, like, because people might be like, well, how do you know that's her pronouns?
You're
And I get
right. You're right.
I
You
get asked
absolutely
that a
right.
lot now lately, which is, so that's another thing. Like, people have started to ask me that in different spaces, like, what are your pronouns? And mine are she, her, right? Like, that's an assumption to think just because I got a fresh fade that they're not she, her, but they are, because I'm fully woman, right? Like, that is my identity. But a lot of times you don't know. So if you don't
Mhm.
know, ask.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it. If they don't tell you, then, and you don't want to assume, then you can ask, and you can ask in a respectful way, right? Like, it just is, it's that simple. Pronouns matter because that's how somebody wants to be viewed in the world. And then if somebody tells you your pronouns, like work hard to say what they are, right? Like that's how they're showing up in this world. So it's important to make sure that you're seeing them the way that they are working hard to be seen, because it's already hard enough to show up and say I'm Zer. Even though I
Mm.
really would take on a Zer if I was in high school, I would be Zer.
You would be Z for sure.
I would be
No, but you're
Z.
right. I definitely think just being intentional. If someone's letting you know what their pronouns are, I'm sure a lot of times people are understanding if you get it wrong here and there, but just try to be intentional. If you mess up, apologize, acknowledge it. Let them know that you are trying to acclimate and change, and adjust to what they now prefer to be, what they now prefer to identify as. So yeah, I think just be very intentional, and be intentional with the spaces that you're providing. Is it for you or is it truly for them? And it can be for you. It can be for you to have them around to show them that this is a safe space and I love you regardless and stuff like that. But just make sure your intentions are in the right place and why you're doing it, because they need it. And it's something that they'll remember, for sure. It sticks with them.
Word, absolutely. Well, DJ ShamWow, tell the people where they can find you, how they can hire you, so they can support Black women and lesbian. You get all the
All of
intersections
it.
right here, all the right
All of
options
it.
right here. So, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you guys can hit me up on Instagram at DJ ShamWow. That's going to be the best place to reach out to me. My email and booking information is attached to my Instagram page. Um, and yeah, Facebook, I mean, pretty much every outlet you can reach out to me on, but Instagram is going to be the best to get in contact with me for your bookings. Anyone has any questions, definitely send me some DMs. I can talk with you. You don't have to just hit me up just to strictly book. I'm definitely open to answer any questions anyone may have. Or if you want to just hit me up and chat, let me know.
Boom. Support Black women, lesbian businesses. All of it. All
Period,
one stop
period,
shop.
period.
Dope. So thank you, 828 fam. This has been another Critical Conversations for Crucial Growth. I'm Coach Rees, your host. Thank you, DJ ShamWow, for being here with us. Until next
Thank
time.
you.
Peace.
Peace.